Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, coming to you from beautiful, but as you can see, rather rainy Outer Banks, North Carolina. I'm here with my family, and of course, never fear, as always, I still have tons of video content for you all week long. You're my peeps, and we're here together in spirit. And my, oh my, it's being widely reported that woke DEI workers are being fired literally everywhere. As I'm sure you all know, in the wake of the George Floyd riots, corporate America went absolutely woke and started implementing what's called DEI programs, which stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's when corporations started bringing in these DEI officers who supposedly have expertise to ensure equitable and accessible workplaces for all people, for all backgrounds. And that's how they justified it, at least, It turns out DEI officers were just radically woke ideologues enforcing reverse discrimination in the workplace. DEI is just affirmative action on steroids. But alas, again, as is being widely reported, those DEI positions are getting slashed literally everywhere. Now, of course, we just had the amazing decision handed down by the Supreme Court, a 6-3 decisive smackdown, officially ending affirmative action, particularly with regard to college admissions. But the ripple effect, it's being felt all throughout society, most particularly now in corporations, right? Who ever so coincidentally started firing their DEI officers shortly after the Supreme Court's decision, no doubt concerned about comparable legal action against them in the wake of the decision. But it's not just the Supreme Court. Conservative governors like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, they've also contributed to the massive backlash against DEI initiatives. DeSantis, of course, signed a bill to block government funding for diversity programs in public colleges, reinterpreting DEI as discrimination, exclusion, and indoctrination. Governor Abbott issued orders to stop using DEI programs in state agencies precisely because of their vile practice of reverse discrimination. Well, now it's catching on. It looks like more and more corporations are finally throwing this whole DEI absurdity to the dogs, as it were. Even Hollywood. If you could believe it, yes, Hollywood took a surprising turn by firing 4 diversity, equity, and inclusion officers the very day after the Supreme Court struck down affirmative action. Hollywood apparently is slashing DEI officers all over the place now. Now, again, we don't exactly know why. I mean, it could be that they're learning their lessons, that wokeness is box office poison, especially after Disney lost nearly $1 billion on their latest 9 film releases. It could be that they're throwing all this woke nonsense out because it's destroying their business, or it simply could be that they're just cutting the financial fat, as it were, and DEI officers are the first to go with the budget cuts. Or it could be both, for that matter. But the good news is that either way, DEI officers are going the way of the Jurassic Age. They are mercifully going extinct. One way or another, they're on their way out. And I'll show you exactly why. You're going to love this. But first, gang, did you know that the latest data from the American Heart Association indicates that adults with fatty liver were 3.5 times more likely to have heart disease than those without? And did you know that the American Liver Foundation estimates that 100 million of us got fatty liver? Gang, that's you, that's me. We can't save America if we don't take care of ourselves. Our livers are our body's master detoxifier, but after decades of wear and tear, our livers slow down and become sluggish. And this is why so many of us struggle with weight gain and feeling tired all the time. But gang, fortunately, there's a simple, all-natural solution. Liver Health Formula contains 12 powerful botanicals clinically proven to recharge and protect your liver at the cellular level. It helps restore your liver's detoxifying abilities, it boosts your energy levels, and it works remarkably well to fight that horrible fatty liver. Liver Health Formula is backed by proven science, and it's approved by American doctors. And the best part, gang, is every bottle is manufactured right here in the USA. And if you click on that link below right now, you can try Liver Health Formula completely risk-free, and you're going to receive 5 free gifts when you order today. So don't wait. Click on that link below or go to getliverhelp.com/Turley right now to claim your risk-free supply of Liver Health Formula and all 5 bonus gifts. That's getliverhelp.com/Turley. Recently, a group of ultra-woke so-called scholars published an article in the Bulletin of Applied Transgender Studies hosted by Northwestern University. The scholars conducted a survey among engineering students to see if they could gain some insight into the perspectives of transgender individuals in the STEM field. To their utter shock and horror, these engineering students treated the survey itself as a bunch of complete and total crap, and pushed back against these so-called scholars, telling them to basically shove their woke nonsense where the sun don't shine. The students mocked and ridiculed the survey, pointing out that transgender issues are totally irrelevant to their engineering studies. The students questioned why they were even being subjected to such ridiculous and irrelevant questions, and why gender-related issues were being shoved down their throats, since it obviously had nothing to do with the highly technical knowledge needed for engineering. And so, in response to the students' dismissive and mocking attitudes towards the survey, these woke scholars published a paper entitled "Attack Helicopters and White Supremacy: Interesting Malicious Responses to an Online Questionnaire About Transgender Undergraduate Engineering and Computer Science Student Experiences." Now, the reason why they brought up attack helicopters is because a number of these students claimed that they identified as Apache helicopters. They mocked and ridiculed the survey so much, they basically said, hey, screw transgenders, screw identifying as a member of the opposite sex. I identify as an Apache helicopter. And these woke scholars turned around and accused the students, I kid you not, of being far-right fascists. These are considered, at least by some, to be credible academics. They give these engineering students a stupid survey on their attitudes towards transgenderism, which assumes that identity is self-designated. The students mock and ridicule the survey, and the so-called scholars in turn accuse students of being malicious far-right fascists, which of course is imposed identity on these students. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. These scholars own themselves and they couldn't even see it. If identity is solely determined by self-designation, as these scholars clearly believe, if identity is solely determined by subjective self-designation, how I self-identify, imposing an identity on an individual is considered the epitome of evil then. So these so-called researchers and scholars not only have no objective basis to label the students' mocking responses as malicious, but to do so is an act of evil on their own grounds. It's imposing on these students an identity with which they don't self-identify. Far-right fascists. They may identify as Apache helicopters. The point is what basis do these scholars have to impose their identity of far-right fascists on these students? So this is why you can be assured that DEI officers are going the way of the Jurassic era. Nobody wants them anymore, nor should they. They're not just proponents of discrimination. They're also a bunch of pathetic hypocrites to boot.
Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.